Before you ever set foot in an Amish garden, you'll smell it. Earthy, sweet, alive. There's something about the way everything just grows. Bigger, brighter, stronger. It ain't by accident. No tech, no machines, no shortcuts. Just old hands, deep roots, and sacred traditions that never stopped working. Want to know their secret? Lean in. Let me show you what makes Amish gardens not just survive, but explode with life. 1. It starts with the soil, not the seeds. Ever watched an Amish farmer hold a handful of soil? They don't just look at it, they feel it. Rub it between their fingers like they're reading a message left by generations before them. You can see it in their eyes. They know that dirt. They know if it needs more chicken litter, if it needs to breathe. You can't fake that kind of connection. They've been working that same plot since their grandfather's grandfather broke the first ground. No GPS, no lab reports, just instinct. Wisdom passed down around dinner tables and morning barn chores. The soil, that's sacred ground. It gets treated like a living thing. Fed, rested, rotated, never rushed, never forced. And when your soil's alive, really alive, your garden grows like it has a soul of its own. 2. Seeds with memory, not just DNA. These aren't supermarket seeds. They're not vacuum-packed and stamped with expiration dates. Amish families save seeds like people save love letters. Carefully, with reverence. Each seed has a story. That tomato, it came from a plant Grandma swore made the juiciest sauce in '59. The corn, that's been in the family for over 100 years. They don't just save any seeds, they save the best. Only from plants that thrived, that resisted pests, that tasted right. Over time, these seeds adapt to the soil, the weather, the bugs. They remember. That memory builds resilience, strength, flavor. And when you plant memory instead of just DNA, you get crops that belong to your land. That understand it. That give more, take less. It's not about innovation. It's about preservation. 3. Work that never ends, and they don't want it to. The Amish garden doesn't get weekends off. Neither do the people tending it. Rain or shine, hot or freezing. There's someone out there pulling weeds before breakfast, checking the squash leaves for holes, turning compost, sweating, sometimes cursing, but never quitting. This isn't hobby gardening. This is survival gardening, purpose gardening. They wake up early, boots on before the rooster even gets a chance. Kids follow behind, barefoot, learning, watching, mimicking. It's not glamorous. No YouTube tutorials. Just calloused hands and muscle memory. Every problem gets solved by being present. Every plant gets attention. That's why the gardens thrive. Because someone's always out there talking to the cucumbers, listening to the wind, catching things before they go wrong. That kind of presence, it multiplies yields faster than any store-bought fertilizer ever could. 4. They don't fight nature. They dance with it. You won't find many Amish gardeners forcing nature to do something it doesn't want to do. They don't wage war on pests. They outsmart them. They don't push a third crop into exhausted soil. They let it rest. They watch the seasons closely, like how some people follow the stock market. The weather shifts, so do their methods. Drought comes, they plant closer, build shade. Flooding, they trench. Every decision flows from observation, patience, and humility. Nature leads, they follow. It's a partnership, not a conquest. You can see it in how they let things go wild at the edges. Let bees roam. Let toads take up residence. They don't sterilize the garden. They invite life in. All of it, because a lively garden is a productive one. 5. Tools with history. Not motors, not noise. That rusty hoe in the shed, it's older than you. Probably has a wooden handle that's been recarved 3 times. That hand-pushed cultivator, it's not broken, it's seasoned. Amish tools aren't sleek. They're dependable, Quiet, honest. There's no gas-powered hum, no blinking LED screens. Just the creak of wood, the scrape of metal on soil, the occasional grunt. And still, they get more done before lunch than most folks manage all week. Why? Because they know their tools. Maintain them, trust them, pass them down like heirlooms. That cultivator didn't come from Amazon. It came from a time when things were built to last. And when your tools become part of your body, you move different. You work smarter. You grow more, faster, quieter, better. 6. Old wisdom is the new science. Forget what the internet says about garden hacks. Amish gardening has its own science, its own rhythm. Want to repel cabbage worms? They'll tell you what to plant nearby. Want bigger onions? They've got secrets you'll never Google. These methods aren't in textbooks. They're in minds, in journals with frayed corners and coffee stains. Passed along in whispered porch conversations. What to plant next to what? Which moon to follow? When to pick? When not to? It's not superstition. It's survival wrapped in tradition. Modern growers might scoff, but then they see the yields, the rows of perfect tomatoes, the cucumbers the size of your forearm, and they wonder, maybe old school ain't so old after all. Maybe it's the future dressed in overalls. 7. Gardens designed like they're sculpted. Have you ever walked through an Amish garden? It doesn't feel like a garden. It feels like art. Nothing is random. Every row has a reason. Every plant has a partner. Corn grows tall, so beans can climb. Lettuce grows low, so carrots stay shaded. Flowers aren't for pretty. They're for protection. Marigolds fight pests. Nasturtiums trap aphids. Walkways are narrow, efficient. Nothing wasted. Every inch works. Some beds are raised, some sunken, depending on slope, rainfall, wind. It's all intentional. Built by eye, by hand, by instinct. The design isn't modern, but it's masterful. It reflects decades of trial, error, patience. And when something fails, they tweak, not overhaul. Because it's not about novelty. It's about flow. Form that follows the function. And function that feeds a whole family. 8. Composting like it's a sacred ritual. If you think compost is just a pile of scraps, think again. To the Amish, it's a living engine. It's alchemy. It's the difference between bland food and rich harvests. Their compost isn't just thrown together. It's layered. Brown, green, brown again. Manure from the barn, peelings from the kitchen, corn husks from harvest, leaves raked in the fall, all turned, flipped, watered, watched. It heats up, breaks down, changes, smells like the forest floor when done right, feels like chocolate cake. That compost goes into every bed, every planting hole. They don't feed plants, they feed the soil, and the soil feeds the plants. That's the cycle. It's slow, but powerful, and it never stops. 9. No chemicals, just courage and vigilance. When bugs show up in an Amish garden, nobody reaches for neon-colored sprays. They reach for garlic, for vinegar, for soap, for ash, home remedies, ancient mixtures. Sometimes they hand-pick beetles off leaves one by one. Time-consuming? Maybe, but effective and safe. Because Amish food is for their kids, their babies. They won't put anything in the soil they wouldn't put in their own mouths. That kind of caution, it builds resilience. When you don't rely on chemicals, you become part of the defense system. You start noticing things early. You react faster. And over time, so do the plants. It's a slower way to grow, but it's healthier. And when you walk through a bug-free Amish plot, you'll believe in it. Every second spent squashing a worm, worth it. 10. It's never just one person's garden. Maybe the biggest secret of all, Amish gardens aren't solo projects. They're community. One family has extra beans. They share. Another struggles with squash. They get help. No shame. No competition. Just unity. Kids help plant. Grandparents guide. Neighbors lend tools. Sundays, you'll see ladies swapping pickles, jams, tips. It's a living, breathing network of support. And when dozens of people are all sharing knowledge, mistakes don't repeat. Success multiplies. A single idea, like a better compost bin, spreads like wildfire, and everyone benefits. That's how things grow. Not just food, but relationships, generations, trust. That's the heartbeat behind every productive Amish garden. Not just what they grow, but how they grow together. So next time you stare at your patch of soil, wondering why your tomatoes ain't singing, remember, maybe it's not what you're planting. Maybe it's how you're living. The Amish don't chase harvests. They build them with sweat, with silence, with soul. If that's the kind of slow, sacred growing you're into, stick around. Hit that subscribe. Here at Rustic Pantry, we're keeping the old ways alive. One seed, one story, one season at a time.